Maayong adlaw, kamusta? This is Ben from Philippines Xtremes, coming to you from Abao, Cordova, outside of Cebu City. So today I'm going to tackle an issue that it's been talked about, of course, but for a new person that might stumble across this video, it might be useful to them. So we're going to talk about age gaps in relationships. Now, I have done some interviews with some lovely couples that had pretty big age gaps, and I think those examples kind of break down the stigma a little bit, but that's not always the case with most of the relationships that have big age gaps. And people don't really talk about it too much in depth. So I'm going to give some kind of real thoughts on the matter. So, first, you're going to encounter a big difference in maturity. Um, and that's pretty obvious, right? I mean, let's say you're, pushing 60, for example, and she's in her 20s. You're going to have way more life experiences. You're going to have worked through a lot of your kinks, hopefully, um, and a lot of your dysfunctions. And maybe you're just at a point in your life where you're just, been there, done it, and kind of um, worked through all those things. Whereas somebody younger is still working on how to handle situations. They're still working on how to handle, difficult emotions. They've never experienced, long-term relationships, for example. They've never experienced deaths in the family, perhaps. They've never, experienced partnership and financial struggle in a relationship. And, all of these things tend to you tend to learn about them, over time. I know when I was younger and I had issue with money, for example, it would, really set me back and stress me out, and I would react, with immaturity. And it took me many years to kind of work past those things. So you're going to be at a vastly different kind of point in your life in regards to maturity, and obviously, um, her her stage in life, she's going to be still more interested in the things that young people are interested in, like music and media and things that you might just have just moved on past already at this point in time in your life. So those are things that can, be a stumbling block for people. So keep that in mind. So I wrote a few things down. And one of the things that I have heard from many people, even in the people that I interviewed who had vast age gaps, is the social kind of reaction. And, in the Philippines, don't be fooled that just because it's more common here, don't be fooled that there isn't going to be, talk behind your back or even directly in front of your face. It happens. And, like Dave and Eva that I interviewed, Eva was, very upfront with a situation where, somebody was just talking crap right in front of her face. And that happens. I know when I was here before, I was with someone and the age gap wasn't that significant. But even then, people would kind of make rude comments and stuff. So, um, and especially if you decide to move back to your home country, and you have a big age gap, the people there are going to give you a lot of dirty looks. They might even say things. And I think you'll have a lot more trouble in your home country than you would here, of course. So the social stigmas are going to abound, and many people will give you looks and may even say things to you. So these are things you have to be prepared for. And if you don't have a thick skin, you're going to get into arguments and you're going to create chaos for yourself. So keep that in mind, because it will be a factor. Then there's, different priorities in life. You are already worked, you've done you put in your time, and you've found your successes and your failures. You figured out, what direction you want to go in life, and someone who's significantly younger than you may not have figured that out yet. Or maybe now that they're with somebody who's opened up the doorways for her, maybe she wants to pursue some dreams and some goals that she otherwise may not have been able to pursue, not having known you. So, whereas you have already reached the stage where you're settled, you're in a new country, you just want to chill. Who's to say that she doesn't want to, like, maybe go to school, maybe get an education and become, some type of career. You have to be prepared for these kind of things. And ideally, the person that you meet would be motivated to do something like that, right? I mean, that's a good sign for a partner, as someone who wants to achieve things in life and has the goals. So definitely keep that in mind, because you being it, you're already worked through everything. She may be just reaching, the bottom rung and wanting to climb up the ladder. So that needs to be also something to keep in mind as well. Um, and that kind of carries on into life stages too. Um, you're working towards, and let's face it, you're probably past middle age, and you're probably working towards the latter phase of your life. And she is clearly, just in the beginning of it. So factor all of those things in. You have to consider, um, what's life going to be like for her after you're gone. Are you going to set her up in a way that's going to be a benefit to her, to where she can succeed? I mean, you have to consider that being with you, even if it's love or whatever, it's still um, I don't want to say sacrifice, but it's definitely changing the progression, her trajectory of where she might have otherwise went in life. And once you're gone, um, what's left for her? So keep those things out, and keep those things in your mind, because you have to take care of your business, even when you're not here. And the other thing is the big elephant in the room is children. So maybe you've already worked through all those things, raised kids, and been there, done that kind of thing. But are you going to be selfish? Because you have to know that family is a huge, huge part of Filipino culture. And it's every woman's dream, most every woman's dream, to have children. And regardless of how old you are, she's still going to be wanting to have, an offspring, someone who, that she can love, and who will, grow up and be there for her when she's older. She doesn't want to live her life alone. And, if you're absolutely opposed to children, you're going to find that's going to perhaps be an issue as you progress through the relationship, because most Filipinas would preferably want a child. And if you're, of the mindset that maybe you've had a vasectomy already, maybe you've already, decided in your mind that it's just not something that you want to do, make sure that you're upfront about those things with your woman that you've chosen to be with, and that she can make a healthy decision to choose you as her man. Maybe she will come to terms with it, but you have to understand too, minds change, and she might, be fine with it in the beginning, but as she goes on through life and she sees her friends, having kids, it can well up inside of her, and she may very well want to, have a kid. So if that's going to be a factor in your life, like a make it or break it deal, then perhaps you single out someone who's already had their children, someone who is older, and obviously if you choose somebody who's older, all of these things that I already mentioned are going to be less issue to the relationship. So a lot of guys come here and they want the young, the fancy, the free, the wild, the not wild, but the free spirit kind of youthfulness that is so appealing, and that can backfire on you. So you got to take all these things into consideration if you're coming to the Philippines. Not all women are going to adhere to these kind of things that I've mentioned, but a high percentage are. And so this is some sound advice that I'm giving to you, and some 2 cents to add to your pocket so you can think about these things and factor them in. Age gaps are a struggle no matter where you go, and even though they're common here in the Philippines, they can be an issue here as well as anywhere else. So hopefully I gave you something to think about out there, and keep in mind that age gaps can and are sometimes, just the age gap is a detriment to the relationship. However, an age gap can be mutually beneficial. And check out, Dave and Eva and Carlos and Lynn's interview, and you'll find two couples right there that work very well with the age gap scenario. So it does work out, but you have to keep all of these things in consideration, and you know just be open. Be open with each other. Keep the lines of communication flowing. Make sure that you guys are both on the same page before you decide to really get into a serious long-term relationship, and you should be okay. So guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully this helped somebody out there, and feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I know that a lot of my videos are viewed by 10% of my subscribers, and the remaining 80 to 90% are non-subscribers. So if you're one of those non-subscribers that gets the alerts but hasn't yet chosen to subscribe, please consider doing so. Greatly appreciate it, and it really would help me grow as a YouTuber. So thanks everyone for watching, and have a blessed day.